Hello and welcome back to the show. I am Scott, and with me as
I'm
always,
Joe.
Jesus Christ!
I'm just going to introduce myself.
Already.
Now it's garbage.
Just another movie night.
We're just another movie night, and this is Talking Trash.
Talk of trash.
And usually we talk trash about a movie by ourselves, but today we're doing something special. In fact, for the next 10 days, we're going to be doing something special. We're going to be talking about Fast and the Furious, the franchise. And the only way to do this is bringing in our family. The Bad Movie Night family. For the last 6 to 7 years, I would say I've been watching bad films with this group of people. And I've brought them in just for this occasion. So going around the room. Oh, and I would also say that with this group of people, we have cried together. We've been drunk together. Some of us have thrown up together. Some of us have slept in the same room while watching movies. And one of us has even had their water break during one of their bad movies.
Yeah.
This is the Bad Movie Night family.
Had a baby while watching Ghost Baby.
Yeah. So going around the room. All right, so to my side I have Aaron. Aaron, hi. How you doing?
Hello.
You said you saw this movie before and you saw it in the theater?
Yes, in high school.
And you said, what did you say? It was the only thing that you were cool? You had to see this movie?
Yes, like if you did not see this movie, you were not considered cool at all. Like you had to go see it. Bigger than Titanic.
Did you go see this movie when you were wearing sleeves?
No, I think I actually was wearing a tank top.
Oh, so you weren't wearing sleeves.
Yeah, I
So
was-
that makes you extra cool.
Actually, I was totally wearing like that early 2000s look. So like
Was your belly showing?
oh yeah, definitely crop
Oh,
top, tiny little tank top. You know,
And you
thing
did it
go-
right. You did it
Yeah,
right.
I did everything right.
Yeah, so you were like a race hoe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
See, I was not cool. I did not see
I
this movie in
wasn't
the
cool.
theater.
I wasn't cool either.
All right, next to her is my buddy Jeff.
Hi,
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you?
Now, I think the only person in this room is going to admit this. This is one of your favorite movies. Is that true?
It's not one of my favorites.
But you knew this movie, like, when we were watching it, you were like, I remember all of this.
I've seen it multiple times.
How many times would you say?
Maybe 3 or 4 times before this.
Really? 3 or 4 times? All right, that's really interesting going around the room. All right, Joe,
Hi, what's up?
do you remember seeing this movie at all?
I don't remember a damn thing. No.
You don't remember anything,
All I
right?
know is that Vin Diesel did not have sleeves, and Paul Walker was not a cop, except he was.
What?
And I thought this whole time, I didn't know that he was a cop. I don't remember him being a cop, but he was a cop.
Well, spoilers.
Sorry. But yeah, that I don't remember nothing about the movie. And I didn't see it in the theater either. I saw it on DVD.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
remember
you
when we
weren't
saw this
cool.
movie.
Yeah.
I do not
I don't
remember
recall
this
ever
movie
seeing
at
this
all.
movie. I don't know. I know I saw it, but I just don't remember.
All right, next up is my friend Gary. Gary, how you doing? Say hi to the peoples.
Hello, thank you for inviting me to the studio.
Have you seen it? Have you seen, like, how many times have you seen this movie?
This movie plays on TBS a lot
Yeah, right?
with commercials, and after seeing it tonight, and I said before, I have no idea the movies are mixed together, 1 to 6 or whatever. But after seeing it tonight in full, I used to think that because I was multitasking, I didn't understand what was happening in the movie. But I actually sat down and watched the whole thing, and I still don't know what's going on. So that's my opinion for right now.
Okay. And last but not least, Jared.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good.
So what about you? This is what, your second, or you seen it more than that?
I'm on par with Jeff.
Really?
I think I've seen it about 3 to maybe 5 times, yes.
All right, so my question is, how do you feel about it now? after seeing it again?
Ooh. Well, being what, 20, 21, 22 years later after seeing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
No, right?
It's definitely not the same. I'll say it. I used to be the Gran Turismo nerd. I used to sit there and do all this stuff, so I kind of understood a little bit of what's going on as far as with the cars, but the story,
Yeah.
it's a little muffled.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
A little muffled.
So if we already didn't bury the lead, we're talking about 2001's Fast and the Furious. The first, the original. A movie that was spawned off of a Vibe 1998 article called Racer X. This was turned in by David Ayer, the writer and director of Fury and Suicide Squad, into this script.
Racer X as in Speed Racer?
That's what this article was called in Vibe magazine. It was an article, and they blew it into this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, and I will say that this is directed by Rob Cohen, who did Stealth.
Is it Jamie Foxx movie?
Yes, the one with the killer stealth bomber. Does anybody ever seen
Yes,
that film?
we saw
Oh,
that.
it's
Yeah.
bad.
It was
I haven't
trash.
seen that one.
This director has done really bad films. Like, that's why I'm not shocked that he didn't come back to the franchise after this, because I don't think any of the other movies feel like this. They completely change, right? Now, I'm just going to say this right off the bat. I have not seen 2 or 3.
No.
Yeah.
Tokyo Drift. I did not see that.
I've never seen
number
2,
3.
and I think John
Oh,
Singleton
is it-
takes
who's
over,
number
right?
2 then?
John Singleton takes
Too
over,
Fast, Too
and
Furious.
John Singleton as in Boys in the Hood?
yeah, I'm pretty damn sure. And if
Wait, no.
everybody's got to look up on their phones.
I'm looking it up.
I'm pretty sure that's who takes over for the second one, and then they actually have a whole new cast. And I don't think Vin Diesel comes back. You guys have to tell me here.
It takes place in Miami, actually.
Does it?
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to next time
that's our
watching
hope.
this movie for the first time.
Yeah.
So now, I guess going around the room, how many of these have you seen, Aaron?
Just this one.
That's the only one you've seen.
Yeah.
I'm
That's-
excited for you to see how this progresses.
Oh, God.
Jeff, what about you?
I've seen the first 5.
You've seen the
Dang.
first 5. And Joe, we've only not seen 2 of them.
There's
So-
only 2 that we haven't seen. That's 2 and 3.
Okay. Which
The introduction of Han. I don't remember that.
It's in part
I
2.
actually thought he was in this one. So
No.
I don't remember that.
He's in part 2.
Introduction.
No,
of
3,
Han is
actually.
3.
3,
That's
actually.
3.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't remember that.
okay.
And apparently Eva Mendes is in part 2. I don't remember that. So I
We've never
saw
seen it. Yeah, we've never
saw
seen
it.
2
No.
or 3. And you guys, Gary?
I haven't seen anything past 6, but you said Eva Mendes. I have seen the end of a lot of these movies.
Okay.
There was one with Ronda Rousey,
Yes.
and I believe they were both in the same movie.
Who?
Eva Mendes and
No.
Ronda Rousey.
No.
No, they're
No.
two.
No,
And
but
all
Ron-
these
They're
these
blending.
movies blend into me, so I know at least 1, 2, and 5. And honestly, I've seen clips of the other ones because they just are always on TBS or something. You turn on and you're like, "Hey, it's Ronda Rousey." I'm like, "Oh, she's in this movie too?"
Yeah.
Well, this
Is
part
that
2 is
the
the induction
fighter?
of Ludacris and Tyrese, which I thought Tyrese was in this one. So that shows you how much I know.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing.
See,
The setup for this movie, I guess I've seen 2 a lot because it looked like the beginning of part 2. Mm-hmm. I expect, oh, here's me Tyrese, and they're gonna bed and they're old friends. I'm like, okay, maybe that's 5. I have no idea anymore.
okay. Yeah, I got to tell you, I think the same thing's going to happen to me and Joe. I think that all the movies are going to blend. We're going to completely not remember
Yeah.
any of them, right?
Yep. I mean, the only one I really remember is the last one.
I remember a lot
9.
of famous people showing up to fight them in each movie, and it's going to be even more.
Yes.
Aaron is going to be blown away by how insane this gets. Jared,
Yeah.
you've seen them all now, right? Except 9 you haven't finished?
Correct. I made it about halfway through 9, and I stopped. My wife said she wanted to watch it. She may want to watch it. That was about a month ago. Haven't seen it since.
Well, I guess
So-
the question is, have you seen the spin-off? You've seen that one.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, so Hobbs and Shaw I did see.
There
yes.
is a spin-off.
That was
movie.
fantastic. We loved
I
it.
heard about that.
There is 2 shorts, too. We talked about that. There's one that Vin Diesel filmed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has something to do with part 4. I don't really understand. But he paid like his own money and made a 20-minute short movie that attaches to one of these movies. That's mind-blowing. I would love to see that, too. I have no idea. Because I don't... Okay, so the question really is, guys, is this series Well, you've only seen one. You've only seen this one twice now.
Yes, twice.
This series, I hold it dear because I think it's so bad it's good. I think this is hands down one of the modern so bad it's good films.
This franchise is definitely on the so bad it's good list.
Do you all think this, or do you all think this is like actually pretty good films?
Well, actually, rewatching it 20 years later, it's pretty bad. Like,
Well, just this first one, because you don't really
How
have.
dare
yeah.
you? Vin Diesel's sleeves would be very upset right now.
I mean, Paul Walker definitely was cute, but like everything else, I was like, wait, what's going on?
The first one doesn't stand the test of time.
Yeah.
But
But do you think that the franchise as a whole is like so bad it's good, or do you actually think it's good? Because I'm really intrigued by that.
I think it gets better
Yeah.
as we go on.
So you actually think they get better,
Yes.
but in the sense of like hilarious, or do you think it's like no,
Over
this
the
is actually
top,
great?
fun.
Okay, all right, and I think you are with me, right?
Oh, I'm on board with you.
Okay.
So Gary,
After seeing the first one again in full, I feel the other ones that I saw at least have a more cohesive storyline. This one seemed to jump a lot, and I have not seen the submarine or the spaceship or any of those other things. So I just remember.
Spoilers, Aaron. Spoilers.
What?
Spoilers.
No way.
Well, I haven't seen it either.
There's
so.
a spaceship.
Wait, there's a submarine? Are they going to go in the water?
Just wait.
Wait.
it's amazing.
This is a franchise that can go from Nos being your plot line to is Transformers going to show up in this thing?
Yeah.
And you almost get there. You're like, what? I think it might happen,
Yeah.
but
Did they build
who
the
knows?
Mach 5?
Like Tyrese is in the Mach 5
He
pretty
is in
much.
the Mach 5.
Yeah.
Jared, what do you think? Like, do you think this is so bad it's good, or do you think this is good, or bad?
Well, okay, watching it again after so many years, yes, you think back, yes, it does progress on to be so bad it's good. I mean, you do understand the action, you start to see what's going on, and yes, it is entertaining to the point, but when you sit there and watch everything that's going on, it just goes berserk.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
And would you say, like, rewatching this first one? Okay, I don't know if you looked. I don't know what you rated it, Joe.
Okay, well, I
you
haven't
look?
rated it yet because I
Oh.
don't remember watching it the first time. But I will say, as a group of people, now there are 6 of us, and we watch bad movies like it's our job.
Yes.
Okay. This movie is highly entertaining because we can laugh at it, and we make our own jokes. If I had to rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, I'm gonna say this movie's a 5.
Yeah, I looked at what I gave it from back when we first watched it, all the way back in the day, and I gave it a 5.
Okay, it's a
I
5.
remember not enjoying this film, and so rewatching it again,
Wow.
I'm going to double down on this and say this isn't a good film.
No, it's not.
And can you
It's
believe?
mediocre at best.
All right, Aaron, I'm going to say this to you because I think since you haven't seen any of these, and I think that's the best person to keep going to, because after watching this again, do you think that this franchise should make $6 billion? $6 billion?
No. No, absolutely not.
That's how much this movie franchise has made.
Yeah.
I didn't even think that
I
they would
mean-
make a 2 and not like 10 of them.
It's surprisingly a cash cow.
It's
And that's why they all keep coming back, because obviously they're making millions of dollars off this.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to come back?
Okay, who wouldn't?
Well-
Who wouldn't?
Except for Dwayne Johnson.
Well,
He does not
well,
want to come back.
There's a beef.
There's a beef.
It's a beef.
Well, so
A sleeve beef.
I can't wait to get to that. I can't wait to get to that. All right, so this is Talking Trash. So we're gonna try to talk about this movie because I think this is gonna be complicated. In fact, I'm so glad that I have Jeff and Jared here because I don't know what the fuck's going on in this film. Because I'm gonna admit something here. I could care less about cars. I couldn't care
Same.
less.
And I was making jokes the whole time, so I am useless.
I was going to say 20 years ago when this movie came out,
Yeah.
I remember avoiding this movie because the car enthusiasts that I knew, that were friends, oh, this car's in it, this car's in it. And I go, what about the movie? And they're only talking about the cars.
Cars.
And I played GT, what was it?
Grand Theft Auto and
Grand
Gran
Theft Auto.
Turismo.
Gran
Gran Turismo, those games. And I did a little bit, but I knew the people that were watching these movies, 1, 2, 3, they were only talking about, did you see this car in it? And I wasn't a car person, so I
That's
figured I
exactly
wouldn't
how I
like
feel.
it.
That's why I didn't watch it. Yeah.
I was one of those guys. I will tell you, I was one of those guys. One of the cars that it's in, it's especially in number 2. It was a car that I would love to have.
Okay.
It's in the beginning of 2, so I won't say anything else, especially for anybody else. But I will point it out whenever we watch it. But it was a car playing. I hate to say it, playing Gran Turismo. It was the car that I always went to.
Okay. See, like to me, and I don't know how you feel. So like, I'm really fascinated by because if I got in a friend's car and he had that bass drum that made my rib cage feel like it was gonna fall out of my body, I wanted to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, same.
I'd rather go on a scooter.
If they're playing Limp Bizkit on a freaking loop, I'm out. Okay, I am out.
You can't get in the back seat because there's giant speakers and there's neon lights under your seats, and you're like,
And then
what
you
the
sit
fuck
with
is
your
this
knees
for?
up to your freaking chin because there's no room in the front seat. No.
This shows you how old I've always been. I've always been this
Well,
age.
I also love retro cars too, so I'm like into the 30s,
too,
40s,
yeah.
50s style cars. Those old Chevys, the really slick looking ones. These cars in this movie don't do it for me. They're
Yeah,
all
me neither.
painted with like stupid tigers on the side.
But then
and
again,
all
it's
that.
about racing.
It looks goofy.
And I know a lot of you guys like that stuff. I know Jeff in particular used to go to like NASCAR and all that. And so I can understand if you're a big fan of that, maybe this is a big deal. But I think right off the bat, this is what made me not want to watch it back in the day.
Yeah, that's true.
And I also think that's like that masculinity type
There's a
thing.
machismo thing going
That
on.
whole like,
Yeah.
this is
Sleeves.
Yeah, bros. Yeah, don't talk
yeah.
to hoes. Get in the car.
I don't
shut
wear
up.
sleeves and, we're racing for pink slips.
But they were talking to the hose.
Well, the hoes were pretty hot. I mean,
I
Well,
mean-
except who was the rapper in this again?
Ja Rule.
Ja
Ja
Rule,
Rule.
who did not get the hose.
Monica!
oh yeah, well he got to feel up a boob. So there's that.
He at least got something.
He got a boob feel.
Yeah.
I just want to say a little bit. Most of these cars
Yeah,
that they
first
put in there
name.
was mostly for show. Most
Yeah.
of those cars, they did fix them up, but the ones that were actually racing. I mean, there's a guy that's set up on the first line in the beginning of the movie. He's playing the PlayStation in the car. That's really not practical for what you're trying to do with these types of cars.
No.
So I think it's a kind of a mix. It came from the point of late '90s, people trying to put that bass in the car, along with trying to fix it up. But I mean, if you're trying to fix it up, you didn't have any of that in these cars.
Yeah, see, that's
So
what I'm
it's,
thinking.
it's a full blend of everything, but at the same time, the ones that you really showed off are the ones that were actually racing. That's it.
Yeah, but I don't understand because when I think Honda, which I've owned Hondas my whole life, I don't think racing car. I mean, maybe I'm just naive. I don't understand because they put that souped up, crap in it or whatever, and I get it. Okay, fine. But a Honda to me is like, okay, that's like a freaking mom car, Like,
I've been in the car with you and you race. I hold
Knock it
on
off.
for dear life.
I mean,
okay?
I'm just a little bit of a rebel, but I'm just saying, how do you equate
Scared.
like the Jetta with a racing car? I mean, I guess you could be thinking
Jetta
it's a
could,
racing car.
my
big
Jetta could
racing
take
car,
you
Jetta.
on.
I would
They
think like
actually-
the good old boys. What do you call it?
Dukes of Hazzard?
Dukes of Hazzard. That kind of shit.
That's a
you know?
Challenger. So
Well,
that's
yeah, I
different.
mean,
That's a muscle car.
Oh, that's muscle
So-
cars, right? I mean, am I silly and thinking that muscle cars are the ones you want to race
But
instead
there's
of a
some
freaking
Hondas that
Jetta?
are muscle cars.
I don't know.
I've seen some videos where I've seen some little like 1980s Toyotas beat those types of cars.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I don't know
So,
anything about this
Mhm.
shit.
I mean,
So
it's-
if you school me, school me. I don't know anything about it.
It's
That's right,
crazy.
yeah.
It's really all about what they put into the car, and that's basically what they're trying to do in this.
Well,
They're
is that a thing where they lift up the seat and there's like hydraulic things going on in there or whatever? What do you call it?
I think that's a little bit of show.
Sorry.
I think
Yeah,
it's
that.
I think that is a little bit of show, but most of it is they have to keep it somewhere away from the engine because that's the last thing you want to
I was
see.
thinking the same thing.
That's the last
Yeah.
thing you want to see is getting that some of that. If it leaks, you need to get it away from the engine and
Yeah.
heat as much as possible.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand it. So.
I have so many questions.
I do too. I do too. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a complete idiot when it comes to this car. Everything I was looking at in this movie, I was like, shouldn't that blow the whole car up? Or
I
would
know,
this
it
be dangerous
should.
if they crashed? Or
It should. Yeah. Well, let's break down the plot of this.
if you can. And
I mean,
I would
can
love to
we?
hear. I would say that the plot of this movie is jump cuts, music videos, and
Limp Bizkit.
crashes and hose. And,
Shaky cam.
no,
Young Limp
seriously.
Bizkit in the
Shaky
movie.
cam.
She's stuck on Limp Bizkit. I don't know.
Okay, no, but the shaky cam, I feel like I was on acid. When it was like
One of the
going really
actors was.
blurry during the whole, like there's a lot of blurry scenes. I'm like, all right, I know I've been drinking, but it's I'm only one beer in. I shouldn't be feeling this. It was really blurry. Am I alone in this?
No.
That's
no.
what happens when you're driving the speed of light.
That's true. They break the speed force at least 3 or 4
Yeah.
times. in this film. This movie starts off right off the bat. You okay?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I was gonna say this movie starts off right off the bat. I think, and I don't know if I'm mistaken here. Does this start off with the robbery of the truck right off the bat, and then we
Correct.
jump to tuna fish?
Correct.
Okay, so
Yes.
there's a
Yeah.
tuna fish plot line in this movie.
Well, not right to the tuna fish. We get the
Oh yes, he's driving on a track.
yeah, we get the whole thing where we don't really quite know what's going on. It just happens.
Yes.
You just see him. Looks like he got a brand new car. He's like, hey, I want to go out and test this thing out,
Yeah.
and that's it. Next thing we jump to tuna salad.
Tuna casserole time. What is
Was
he?
it
Is it
tuna fish sandwich
No,
with
he
the crust
gets,
cut
okay,
off?
first of all, that is the two most grotesque words
Yes,
spoken in the
I
English language.
absolutely
Tuna
agree with
fish. Most grotesque. I happen to find the one human on earth that hates tuna as much as I do.
Yes, this is something that
It's
repulses
disgusting.
me. And can I also point out that the one place in the world I do not want to see tuna fish is in a place that is a sweatshop
Oh yeah.
and that has no air conditioning and has a bunch of sleeveless, sweaty people serving the tuna
Yeah,
fish.
I don't want someone
What
serving
is
me
this
a
place?
sandwich with like pit stains.
And do we ever, and I'm going to my two resident experts of the franchise, do we ever go back to this convenience store?
I don't think so.
I mean, it's called
think-
Toretto's.
I think they went back once, but it's just it makes it seem like it's a garage. So are they running a garage?
Is
It's
it
like
in
a
the
garage slash bar, but
it's
like
because-
Jordana Brewster's the only one cooking, and she's just.
And I wouldn't even say
cooking.
cooking.
I don't get
No.
it. I
That's
don't
a
know.
sandwich.
She just made a sandwich.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
like
I
the
got
Toretto
nothing.
Subway shop. Everything's like kind of pre-made. You slap it on bread.
With the side of nitrous oxide.
this place is a shithole. I mean, a
is.
shithole that looks like it's in the middle of your neighborhood. It's
Yeah.
bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, Paul Walker loves tuna fish at this specific place because he is trying to get with Brewster,
Jordana Brewster.
who happens to be who's I guess her brother
Yeah,
is
Dominic is her
hulking behind
brother.
a screen door of some sort, doing what looks like taxes. Who the fuck knows what's happening back there? But something's going on
But
back
all
there.
we know is no sleeves.
No, we can see that.
No sleeves.
And he is, even sleeveless, he is pouring sweat. I
Pouring.
mean, out of his armpits down his
would you
entire
order a
backside.
sandwich from this joint?
That's what I'm saying.
I would not order.
I wouldn't
a
even
sandwich
go
from
in
this
here.
joint.
But there's reasons for it, I guess.
Well, she's hot.
And you
Is
know
he-
it's important. You know he's important because all you see is the back of his head. That's it.
Yes,
Just
and
like
he
you don't-
forgot that he's going bald, so he
Yeah.
kind of has like patches of hair. But
It
he
comes
should
back,
just
yeah.
be slick, but he's not slick.
This is a plot line. This is something
It
you
is.
girls talked about a lot during this. You
I
kept
had to.
talking about
I
the
had
hair
to.
changing from
Because
scene to scene.
you know he comes off as like this macho dude who's like totally gruff, right,
Yes.
Aaron? And he's got this this patchy dome on his head. It's like, okay, figure it out, man. Figure it out because you are going bald. So let's just get that slickness going. Let's just bick it. Let's bick it already. He hasn't figured it out in the first movie.
He's holding on to hope, okay? The little
Keep hope
stubble,
alive.
okay?
No hope.
He's
There's-
holding on to hope.
No hope.
Most men hold on to hope.
Well, nobody has your head of hair, Jeff. I mean, Jesus, you look like Goku.
At one point, you asked about Paul Walker's hair gel.
Oh, well, his hair
Yeah.
kept changing the whole time. If you guys did not notice, they kept adding hair.
Well, it's weird because he kept getting so much wind from so many driving sequences that I couldn't tell that what was happening.
Well, they
with
had to
his
do
hair,
that
but-
for the stunt double. You know?
Yes,
still.
there's one
Yeah.
part in particular.
Oh, you can
You
tell
can
he
tell.
was like a
Movie.
middle-aged stunt double.
Yes.
But they kept adding hair to him. I don't know what they were
I
doing.
think that stunt double had a beard.
He
That's
did
a-
have a
wow.
beard.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
See that?
I swear, I think that guy was on Corridor Crew.
Nice call out.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, I mean, so I guess the whole plot here is that Paul Walker's character is trying to get in with this family and infiltrate them. We slowly find out about this, but there's a dude. I do not remember this character's name. He does not like Paul Walker.
Vince.
And
Vince.
instantly-
Vince.
Now he's not that he's smart. He's also sleeveless. I guess we
He's
should talk about. He's
Chupa
always
from
wearing.
Blade 3.
Okay. He
2.
it's not that he's smart and knows that this guy might be a cop. It's that he just doesn't like him moving in on the girl he likes. And so from there on in this entire movie, it's about him saying, I just don't like this guy. But I will say that if he's trying to pick up a girl, he's doing it the wrong way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing a guitar to other women.
Yeah.
It's baffling what's going on here. But
He said, well, Vincent's friends with Dom since third grade, so I'm sure they grew up together. That should be like his little baby sister or something.
That's true too. I didn't even
Yeah.
think of that. He should know her from. I mean, he's older than her too. So, yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that. Well, I guess we start meeting this group of guys. There's another guy, and I think he has lines, but I do not know his name either.
Ricky Tan.
Tweaker?
Not the villain.
I'm just calling everybody Ricky Tan.
Well, I think the guy you're referring to is Leon.
Is that his name?
Uh-huh.
I think his name is Leon. They mentioned his name, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times.
It's like the whole band of Smash Mouth.
Yes,
is in
Leon.
this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of us is paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also there is another gentleman who looks like a Culkin, who is
Okay.
a little mousy guy who knows all about math and
His name
engines,
is Jesse.
That's Jesse.
Jesse.
Okay, Jesse Pinkman.
And he wears a beanie the whole time in like Southern California. It's like 9,000 degrees.
That's a thing, right? I mean, every cutscene, everything is so. It feels so 90s, even though this came out in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like that edge of the 90s, where everything is that like grunge,
It
coming
is.
from grunge
Oh.
to metal.
Like the crossover.
It's
Yeah,
the
the
worst.
crossover clothes.
It's like the worst when every girl was going through that, like the great eyebrow crisis of the 90s, where everyone didn't know what their eyebrows were, and they just
No one had
overplucked.
eyebrows.
No, they overplucked the shit out of them. They looked
Yeah, you had like
terrible.
a tiny little line, and that was like the cool thing.
Yeah, that's
The
how
eyebrows are a
different.
big plot line.
It is.
Yeah.
This is
Huge.
California, so they are maybe trying to do some trend-setting stuff there because who knows?
True.
It's L.A.
Yes.
So maybe
if-
we're getting that.
I don't know. They
And
did not sound Californian to me. But
No,
I don't know.
no one does.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe because I'm from California, but I don't know.
And there's a lot of tight leather pants and a lot of big chains. This is like if you can imagine any race car in the street, this is everybody from anything you've ever
Yeah.
seen. That's this whole movie, right? And every single and by the way, we should talk about jump cuts and like how the movie keeps jumping from scene to scene. Things just keep happening. And they want to make sure you get into a music montage before you get onto the plot. Sometimes the plot just jumps right into it.
Yeah.
So I guess Paul Walker is trying to get into this group, and he is slowly getting in there. But of course, this pisses off that one guy, and he has to have a fist fight, which is basically what Paul Walker kind of wants to happen
Well,
because that's how the plot starts. If
It
this
always
didn't
starts
happen,
over a girl, though. I mean, Vince likes Jordana Brewster. Her
yeah.
name is Mia Toretto, so she's Dom's sister, and they fight over her. Bottom line.
and for some reason, the sister wants her brother to break this up because I guess he's the king of this group, and he's gonna come. They don't say family. I know we're gonna get into family, and we were waiting for it the whole movie. We got it twice, but it doesn't happen from Vin Diesel, which sucks.
Yeah, it
Because that would have
does.
been perfect. Like, there's even a part where Paul Walker's like, "What do you guys call yourself?" And that's a perfect word, family. But they didn't do it.
He didn't say it.
Instead, it's just like, "Here's the team. That's just the team." You know, they couldn't come up with a good idea yet. What was
It's my
happening.
job to keep score on the families.
Yes, and we got 2.
And none was uttered by. Vin
It's going to get
Diesel.
worse as we go.
So jumping back to the Mia thing, Brian or Paul Walker and Vince are fighting in the parking lot. Mia turns around and says, "Dom, will you stop this? I'm tired of this."
Yes.
Making it seem like this is going on all the time. So are people coming there for the tuna salad, or are they coming there for me?
And
I mean,
the best part is Vin Diesel, Dom. He says, "What are you putting in this tuna? Like, it's all, what are you
Excuse
doing
me,
to
but
this tuna?"
she is the tuna salad. Get it? Wink, wink.
Well,
Get it?
I mean, that
She's
sounds gross.
Yeah.
well, ew. But that's the metaphor. She's.
Thank you for pointing this.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody figured this out.
You know, you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish.
Thank you, Aaron.
Oh
You're
my
welcome.
god.
You're welcome.
Oh my god.
And I thought I was drinking more than anyone.
That would be Jeff, I think.
I think Jeff is mentally checked out with the situation.
I'm good.
As
Okay.
has Gary. Gary's like completely in La La Land.
Well,
He's processing the movie right now.
moving on from that thing, basically you said like Dom has to break this up, but
Right.
if this Dom scene doesn't happen, the movie really doesn't go on.
Yeah.
So Dom instantly sees that he works for a certain company because it's written on his truck.
Correct.
And he calls that guy's job and has the power to get this guy fired. That's how important Dom is.
Well, have you seen Dom's cars? They're like worth
Well,
thousands and thousands.
What
of
we find out is basically he works for like a high-end tires plus of some sort. I mean, I know that's
Like
not
a-
true.
well,
it's
yeah,
like,
it's like
yeah.
a car fix-up shop.
Yeah.
Plus,
Says
I-
everything.
No, it's like a souped up, like, you know, like
You can get anything. I don't understand why the cops don't raid this place, because this is where they're all getting their NOS and everything like that they
Yeah.
need in this movie.
I don't like
it's
the word
bizarre.
Nas. I don't like that word.
You do like the word torque.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
But
torque,
they
torque
still
is
have
like
a
very
voice.
sexy.
Yes, we said it a lot. And they do say both of these words a lot in
Yeah.
this movie. But he does get it. He gets, basically, they call, and this was confusing, and the way that this is filmed, the camera is constantly on this guy's face, and he seems like he's ADR'd, like they had to record his lines after the fact.
Yeah.
Because he seems really nervous, the actor. I don't know if it's anybody we've seen before, but the camera's whirling around them as we find out that Dom has called here and said to fire him. Now, okay, this is where I got to question a lot of stuff in this movie. Does this guy know that he works for the cops and is in on it? Is that guy that works this place?
No, I think he was
No,
just
I don't
playing.
think so.
think so.
But what's weird about this is that he does say, "Hey, you're screwing up my business with Dom Toretto. I can't keep you on." But then he just keeps driving around in the truck.
Yeah, exactly. That's my
The
point.
truck's in the whole movie. Am I wrong?
He still works there. That's what I was asking about.
It's kind of questionable as well.
It's questionable. They don't
The-
really
The
say.
only reason why I say that is because Dom's crew has 5 cars, and it seems like every other crew has 3 cars. So just because you have more cars, I mean, it makes no sense to me.
Like,
but
if
he
Dom is this important, he says,
You have
Dom brings
everybody
me in
else-
money. That was a big part of it. He's like, Dom brings me in a lot of money. Everything that he does, everybody wants. So he makes me money. So you can't lose me in that money. But I was like, well, why doesn't he just fire him?
Yeah, but
Like,
this
why
guy
doesn't he
is
keep
shady.
this guy on?
He's a shady character. So if he was told by the police that this guy's an undercover cop, I feel like he wouldn't be able to hold water. I feel like he would tell Dom, "Hey, you're dealing with a shady character. He's an undercover cop because he's a worm. He wants to make money off Dom." So he wouldn't go along with this. So I don't think he knew that Brian was a cop.
But then I would say, why didn't he just fire him right there?
True. Well, it appears that he does, but they just forget that
No,
plot
they
line.
don't. He
No,
does
they
not
don't.
fire him.
Well, he just keeps driving around in the same
Yeah,
truck.
he works for him
Yeah.
still.
It's weird.
Later on, we see a scene where he actually is giving parts to another character who disappears out of the movie after this scene. There's a lot of stuff like that where
There's a lot of inconsistencies.
Yeah, well, I guess right after this, we do find out that Paul Walker works for the cops, I believe. I think there's something else maybe happens between there. Basically, more setup with Vin Diesel.
They jump cut to the actual race, the
Oh.
10-second race.
Yeah, because he
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
Right
yes.
before that,
he has
he-
to do that first.
right before this heated exchange between Harry, the boss, that's worried about his business.
Wow, good
Paul.
on the name.
Paul looks at him and goes, "I need Nos."
And it jump cuts right to the race. And it's
that's
like,
it.
what happened?
Yeah, and then it's like transitions right to the race.
But that's the thing that I don't get, because why would this guy be like, okay, he wants me to fire you and I need his business, but okay, here's some Nas, go beat him in a tournament.
Yeah, it just seems
Yeah.
like he's okay with everything.
So yeah,
It's
there's a
weird.
race. Now we got to talk about the distance of they're supposed to be driving in the scene.
Okay, well, they're in a residential area where there's, humans, other humans.
They shut off. They block off a Pizza Hut delivery guy. They tell him to go fuck off. He can't deliver his pizza. Pizza Hut must have paid for that spot. And they block off the whole road and they do your drag race. And we have 4 contestants. We have a guy playing Gran Turismo in his car. We have the rapper
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule. And he's all about getting these women. And this woman makes sure, if you win, you have me.
Oh, yeah.
But you gotta get the bonus woman.
If you lose, you have me. But if you win, you get her too. And then she makes sure she's holding his boob, not her boob. I mean,
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh shit,
It's
I
so
have to
extra,
get
so
these
like
women."
we know that he's gonna lose, obviously, because he's not gonna get any
Yeah,
boob.
but Paul Walker also shows up in his souped-up car, and he's ready to go. And everybody's like talking shit about his car and talking shit about him because he's so nervous. He drives over the line. He's got to back up.
Yeah.
And this is when the race starts. And I think he basically offers. I think the losers all lose their cars. Is that what's happening here?
Pink slips.
Or is
Pink
it money?
You
It's
know,
just Paul Walker's.
No, it's just Paul Walker does that bet.
yeah,
He's the one who makes that bet.
because Vin Diesel, wagers money. But what's amazing to me, can I just say that there's a major flaw in this scene, is that this guy, Paul Walker, enters this racing scene that everybody seems to be a part of. Nobody questions Paul Walker, okay? Like, he just enters this thing out of nowhere. These people are all established racers. They know each other. They're all like, friends and
Yeah.
buddies, and they know each other. This guy comes out of here, like, out of left field, nowhere, and they're just like all trusting of him.
Yeah, and Vin
bizarre.
Diesel's even like, "What are you doing here? You know,
Yeah.
basically, I told you to stay away from us."
Right.
And he enters anyways. Basically, I got to get in there. I got to get in with this group. His sister, Vin Diesel's sister, Dom's sister, she's into the fact that he showed up. You know, he's trying. You know, she finds him attractive. You know, but yeah, basically what you're saying is that they're gonna go do this race, and he's basically
Nobody knows him.
like. Yeah, he's coming out of the blue. I automatically wouldn't trust this
Like,
guy. And I'm with that
honestly,
one guy. What's his name? Vince? Or...
They all do. Vince is
Yo,
the
one
guy.
has a problem with his
Is
Vince.
yeah, he's Chupa from
I'm with
Blade
him.
2.
I would see this guy and I would automatically say something's shady.
Yeah, something's not right with him. Like he comes out of nowhere and automatically Dom's like, "Oh, okay, well, let's see what you got." But like,
Well,
what?
I'm gonna get your car. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's do this thing. I'm gonna
Well,
beat you no
yeah,
matter
he's
what.
like super duper like confident that he's gonna get his car.
Well, this is when we get a lot of crazy CGI, CGI.
It hurt my eyes.
That is insane. I guess Fight Club had just happened around this time, and everybody was doing those transition shots where they were like following through the engine. You know, like that whole thing that
Yep.
Fight Club
Yeah.
did so well. Everybody felt like they had to do it too. So we're following every little ounce of everything dripping through the engine and moving on, and they go into what we call ludicrous speed from Spaceballs, right? They break the sound barrier. I mean, this is insanity.
Just about went to plaid.
Okay, yeah,
Two
exactly.
of them fall out. It's now up to Paul Walker and Vin Diesel.
Paul Walker's car is about to explode. That's how ridiculous this is.
No, Paul Walker's car. Is
The
what they're-
rivets
yeah.
or whatever you call that shit goes flying out of the car, and it's about to
His car,
disintegrate.
his car starts disintegrating.
It does.
And he hits the NOS too soon.
Yeah.
It's what we hear in this movie a lot. You hit it too soon.
Absurd.
They never said that in that part, but
They don't right after? You hit it too soon?
No, that's later on.
Oh, because he says all the stuff like you shifted and you did the gears. And, oh, you didn't do this
Well,
right.
when
you
he
didn't do
when
that
he
right.
stops the car, finally they all come over and like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you fucked up this whatever,
Yeah.
whatever Jeff said." That
It-
shit.
It's like the top that scene from Teen Wish.
How dare
where
you.
Basically, it's just like you get it all right, and everybody's like, "Ooh!"
I don't
shit."
really give up
All
about
in.
trying to stop that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. So Vin Diesel wins after Paul Walker's literally the floor of his car falls out.
Yeah.
It's
Engine blew.
insanity. Like the nuts and bolts are flying out of this car.
Yeah. So did we establish that he actually won that race? Because I feel like he fell short.
No, he didn't.
He did.
Well,
Vin-
Vin Diesel.
Dom
Vin
won.
Diesel won.
Yeah,
So
Dom won. He
how
got his
is it
car.
able? How
Right.
was he able to drive his car away, Paul Walker, at the end when his car was
So
literally
that's what we got to talk about.
smoking?
The terrible plot, like, doesn't make any
It's
sense. The movie's not paying
so
attention.
terrible.
The bottom of the seat, I think the passenger seat's
Yes.
floor falls out. And when he stops, his car's on fire. Paul Walker's laughing about it. He's like, he had so much fun.
Yeah.
But Dom's like, what are you laughing about? You lost. And not only that, this is my car, and the whole thing's messed up. You got to fix the engine block. You got to fix the whole thing. And he stops laughing because the whole crowd's against Paul Walker now. But the cops show up. And so this is where everybody goes on the run. And of course, Dom's entire team leaves him, and he's on his own. And the cops start going after him when he's on foot. But the only one to show up is Paul Walker's character. And now this is where we all question what the fuck is happening. Because the car now works perfectly.
It's not smoking anymore.
And there is a passenger seat to sit in.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
able to drive really fast.
and
furious.
Dom isn't flying out of this car.
it
See-
wasn't his passenger seat that fell out. It was the
flooring.
The flooring.
floor,
on
the
Yeah.
flooring.
passenger side.
But his seat was the nitrous tanks? No,
No,
that was Dom's
that
car.
was Toretto's car.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. This car's literally about to explode. And can we talk about how they shut off like a 6-mile radius of a freaking street so no traffic can pass by? And the cops were just alerted
It's
3
a
hours
quarter of a
later.
mile.
Yeah, that was another thing too.
Supposed
I
to
mean,
be.
It's supposed to be a
come
quarter
on.
of a mile when
My
it was.
ass.
It was
not.
forever. How long
It
would
was
you
a
say?
long time.
Gary, you timed it. How long were they
Yeah,
going
Gary,
with a quarter
you
mile?
timed it.
If you're going 60 miles an hour, it should take about 15 seconds to get to that quarter mile. But they're going about 120.
Yeah.
So I would say about a minute and 45 seconds it took them. So who knew they went through some wormholes or some stuff?
Exactly.
Something like that.
Based on the camera work that they did, yes, I think they did. They timed
It
traffic
was
a little
crazy. They shut off the whole freaking street.
And I will
Like,
say that Jeff's pointing out that the floor the seat's fine, but the floor, whatever. But Dom would literally be Fred Flintstone with his
Yeah.
feet
He
in the
would.
street.
He
Like
would.
it's so
They
ridiculous.
just forget that
It
happened.
was just a patch but not the whole floor.
Yeah, but it would be where his feet was, right? Like that
Yeah.
We saw the road as the thing
fell
bottom-
out. Yeah.
I mean,
bottom
just
down.
add that to the biggest film flub, you know,
it
in
is
the
a
movie.
bizarre plot, and of course he gets away from the cops. But this also lets Paul Walker's character get in with
He
Dom
like establishes
to the
a
point.
trust.
Yeah, where he brings him home.
Yeah.
and offers him all the Corona he can drink.
Yep.
Oh,
You're
Corona.
missing a big plot point there.
Ooh, plot.
Oh, please.
When
Tell us.
when they go into the
This is why I got you here.
enemy territory.
Yeah.
Oh.
Holy shit, you're
Yes.
absolutely right. We
Yes.
forgot Ricky Tikki Tavi. the
No,
villain.
Ricky
Johnny
Tan.
Tran.
Okay, I keep calling him Ricky Tan, who is the villain in Rush Hour.
Yes. But yeah, Johnny Tran. I forgot all about. Tell us all about this.
They're just driving, trying to escape the cops, and then they went into the Chinese territory.
Oh, the motorcycles came around them.
And the
That's right.
motorcycles saw them, and they surrounded them and told them to follow them. And like, they ask, "Whose car is this?" And it's like nobody's car. And then they shoot up the car.
They come back. They actually leave, and they come back on the motorcycles, and they blow this car apart.
Yeah, but what's the reasoning?
I do have a little bit of question about this because Brian and Dom, they're driving down the road. Where did the motorcycles come from, and how did they recognize that it was
Yes.
them?
Exactly, because they wouldn't know Brian's car. They were in
you wouldn't
Brian's
know
car.
who he was.
Yes.
You
Right.
had to, okay, just like the police recognizing Dom walking down the road, they recognized Dom in the middle of this car.
Yeah, if
So
you could
true.
recognize
Drive-
Dom's car.
I didn't even pick that
But
up.
it
You're
wasn't
right.
In the
Dom.
middle of the night.
In the middle,
in the middle of the night, but
And they have helmets on.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
they
true.
shoot up this car until it literally blows up. Is that even possible? Well, I guess it is
Well, it
because of
Because
has
the
that
nitrous
does.
tanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it blows up in this amazing sparkle fashion. Like
It
we
looks-
even
It
made
was
mention
glittery.
glitter everywhere.
It's like the blue fire flame.
Yeah.
It's really
they
neat.
look like green
was
and
extra.
blue to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to also point out, they outran the cops. The cops, they lost the cops.
lost the cops.
Only to gain the motorcycle crew. You're absolutely right. That is baffling.
It's so
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Unless they're listening to the cop feed and they're stalking.
Well, he
whoever
doesn't
they're
have a
following.
scanner, a police scanner in his car, because then that would give away the fact that he is a cop.
But even at
No,
that
I'm talking about Tran,
Oh,
the,
Trev.
the
yeah.
villains.
But even at that point, if they're driving down the road, don't you think Dom would recognize? Hey, wait a minute, we're in the Asian part of town where we can't be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
another-
they just went the wrong way,
Yeah,
man.
don't know.
I
Well,
don't get it.
Going back to the house, I mean, he's got the Coronas. Basically, Dom yells at his crew for leaving him. They're all having a great time. By the way, everybody got away fine. Left Dom,
Yeah.
the leader of this pack, and they have about 35 people in this place partying. Like
In his
everybody
house.
took off and
Like,
left this guy.
What the fuck?
They have
Like,
groupies everywhere. Everybody's got a girl on them. Everybody's doing something crazy. There's a girl laying on the floor playing video games. This
That's
place was
Letty.
like ready to go.
That's Michelle Rodriguez on the
She's
floor.
on the floor?
Yes,
Yeah, that was her.
It is.
And I think we
Oh.
forgot to mention her as part of the group.
Yes, okay, so
I
yeah,
guess
you
that's
did
true.
forget to mention
It's
Michelle
very
Rodriguez.
easy to forget because she's hardly in this. She's hardly talking. She's only there once in a while.
Well,
She
you
really
see her,
doesn't have
you
lots
see
to
her
At that
enough.
point,
I mean,
up
Yeah.
to that point, yeah. This is when you really start to see her. They start to see the relationship that I guess we're to assume
Yeah.
her and Dom are together, because that's when they start to see. Because, like she said, she smells two skanks. Then we start to see that
Oh
she's,
yeah, I forgot about that.
she's,
She's gonna put some tread
she's
marks
trying
on her
to she's
fist.
trying to cover up her man, try to get him back. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot, and that's another thing fun to watch in these movies as you go along is like how women start becoming more popular,
Oh,
important
yeah.
characters.
I mean, she
because in
definitely
these
progresses.
openings, they're
Yeah.
basically side characters. Like
Yes.
they do not matter to the plot.
she becomes a huge like a cast member.
They're huge going
Yeah.
forward. That's really that's cool. It's watching how this keeps building up to this crazy thing that it becomes is
Yeah.
amazing. But yeah, so they're in the house, and I guess Brian starts talking more to the sister. Dom is now trusting him a little bit. Vince is pissed off that he's trusting him, and they're basically getting that down that he is now becoming a part of this group. And I guess another jump cut right to him getting arrested. Brian, as he's driving, he gets stopped by the cops, by gunpoint, and taken out of the car in handcuffs. And that's when we find out he is a police officer. He is undercover, working to try to figure out who is taking down these semi trucks, because there is this cutscene of a crazy semi truck takedown with grappling hooks, where the truck driver decides he doesn't like the brake. He's just gonna let all this happen.
Easily stop the truck, but they don't ever.
He is not given the right to stop on this mission of his. It's a bizarre thing. So he's trying to figure out that for the cops. And by the way, the lead cop who shows up, and I would like to know if this character shows up more in the series. The main cop that he's talking with.
You mean
He's
an
played
FBI
by
agent?
Yes, he's played by the actor who plays Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, okay.
He
does not
seems
show
like he
up.
has a good relationship with Brian. It's a really strange thing that they establish, but
He
it doesn't go
might-
anywhere.
No.
He might be in two,
But
but,
the
after
FBI
that,
agent shows up in 2.
Is there an FBI agent
oh yeah,
in this one?
Well, that's the I don't know his name. The main guy, the black guy. That's the.
Oh, he does come
Yeah.
back, but
Okay.
not the other actor.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That actor's name is Tom Barry, Agent Bilkins.
Yeah, Bilkins comes back in the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's really weird because they established this weird like father-son dynamic between the two of them, where so much so where he's like, "I want cigarettes," and like, "You quit," and he's like, "No, he's not smoking." Like he really cares about him, and that's a weird thing to establish, not to even go any further with later on. That's
That
a strange
actor's
thing.
name is Ted Levine. We
Ted
didn't know
Levine,
that.
yes,
We should know that.
which has some of the best lines ever in Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Um,
Best lines ever.
Best lines ever. But yeah, so basically, and I guess we should talk about. Jeff pointed this out. They have their police setup is in some kind of rich house that's surrounded by glass with a weird bridge over a lagoon.
A pool.
A
Yeah, it
pool.
looked like a pool, but
And you specifically said when I was a kid and I saw this, I thought that was the coolest thing to have.
I thought it was a cool idea to have a bridge going into your house.
Just a bridge going to your
Yeah,
house.
but why are they undercover police officers in this beautiful like mansion palace?
Where else to
I mean, you
hide
could
your location?
Rent a stupid, crappy piece of shit crack house.
I had a question. When after they arrested him, where did they uncuff him?
They brought him to a garage of some sort that looked like it was a part of this compound where this house in the lagoon was.
As
Right,
they
I thought they put him there undercover,
They threw him in a car and then
And-
they drove him to this location.
and then they're just staying there now.
yes.
No, as they were walking him into where the pool bridge area is, the guy says, like, Paul Walker says, "Can you take these off of me, please?"
Yeah. they're-
And he starts taking them off. He's like, "I like doing it old school or something."
Yeah, to make
They
it
had him
real.
because they had him real tight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
realism. I like to do it like as real
That's
as
it.
possible.
Yeah.
But as they're walking through that gate to get to the bridge pool, that's where that's. Where
I mean, it's a huge compound.
And they're there for 10 hours ago, so I guess their cover's blown if someone's following them.
I was thinking the same thing. If someone's following them, they're not going to the police station. So this is weird. So why even handcuff him?
Right, it made no sense. That was a stupid plot point. There's no reason.
They could have just met in a coffee shop like we see in every
Yeah.
other movie where they're
and no one
talking
would have been
with their
the
backs to
wiser.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah, I
reaching-
agree.
Going forward a little bit, there's a later on, but I mean, it'll come to a phone call. Why can't you just call them at a specific time?
Does that happen in this?
Yes.
Well, there's a scene where later on we're kind of jumping ahead to it, but the guy calls him and says, "Hey, we're gonna go on this guy. Are you in?"
Oh, you're right. You're
So
right.
he called
they
him
could have
in.
just called him. You're absolutely right.
Just call him there.
And I guess even if someone found his phone and looked at the last numbers who called, they kind of would probably figure it out real quick, right?
Could have, yeah.
Yeah, that
same
is a
numbers called.
bizarre,
There's
weird
a lot
plot
of shit
point.
in
Yeah.
this movie that's just
The
doesn't
movie's
add up.
filled with
Doesn't
that
add
shit.
up at
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
So right after that, I guess we get another jump cut, and he is doing. Does anybody remember? Anybody?
He drops off the car at the.
Oh, yes.
That
So he-
Uncle John?
So we didn't talk
Yes.
about the 10-minute car thing that you guys were repeating a
10
lot during
second
this movie.
car,
10
right?
second car.
10-second
then-
car. Yeah.
But he brought over a
That-
10-minute
The
car.
joke was I said it backwards. He said, "I want a 10-second car," and you gave me a 10-minute car or something like that. Right?
The whole setup after the police chase, when they're they're being gunned down
Mm-hmm.
by the Chinese gang, was just to set up that point of Dom is claiming, actually it's not my car. I haven't claimed it yet. It wasn't delivered to me.
That's
She
right.
had said that whole point, that meme at the end.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just for that quote.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the only purpose. of
Okay.
it.
So he brings him a junker that happens to have a great engine in it.
That's it.
And then they're all excited about it. They're like, "Oh, this is a great engine. Once after we put $15,000 in it, it's gonna be a great car. Well, okay, I guess we
Well,
get
I mean,
it.
what is his whole mission? His whole objective.
What is his mission?
Paul Walker, is because Toretto is a criminal. He beat someone almost to death.
Yeah, I think he says, I don't believe that Dom would do the break-ins after the trucks. And
Yeah.
they slap a folder down and says, well, no, this is what he did to the last guy. He beat this guy with a wrench.
With a wrench, almost
and they
to
show
death.
like a face, a guy's face, and it's all beat up.
So that's why he's after Toretto.
They specifically think it's Toretto, but Brian thinks it's Tran. Is that his name? Tran?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he thinks that he's involved. He thinks, well, why wouldn't it be them? Why would it be Dom? And now, do we know what's in these trucks?
It's VHS players, DVD players.
It's just
What,
crap.
in 2001, that's what we're worried about?
Yes, what you can buy that shit for $47.
No, because when they went to Tran, they said that he had a whole supply of VHS
Yes,
and DVRs,
yeah.
and they were legally bought.
Yes.
So that was just a red herring.
Yes.
It was,
So what
yeah.
was in the
So
trucks?
maybe I wasn't paying attention. I have no idea in the truck. You think it's VCRs and DVDs?
Maybe
Yeah,
it was
that's what
car
they show.
parts.
That's what they
TVs.
show in the opening.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
shit's worth about $1.75. I mean,
Back,
really.
back then, it was worth like a couple $100 each.
I guess you're right, but I mean,
maybe
VHS
it's a dual
recorders.
VHS and DVR.
Maybe
Eh.
Blu-ray players.
I mean to base that,
fucking knows.
that's your merchandise. I mean, really.
That's an
if
odd
they were
point.
peddling car parts, I would understand it more.
Yes.
But that's not what's happening.
And I
It's
guess
so
we'll
weird.
get to that too, because it's even stranger when we do find out who really is robbing this, because
Yeah.
it's weird, it's questionable. Yeah, but so yeah, he gets in with them. I think we start finding out a little more about the group. I think Brian starts talking to the mousy guy in the group, who gives a lot of details about his life.
We need
find
to
out
know
that his-
names.
I mean,
That's Jesse.
Jesse.
Yeah.
he's like telling him that he knows all about cars, and it makes him feel better because he has ADD, and so he can't focus on anything else. He can't do schoolwork, so that's why he dropped out. Basically,
Well, he was supposed to go to MIT, but he couldn't.
He said you should have went to
focus.
MIT.
No, he said you should go to MIT.
You should go to
Yeah, you're
MIT, but
brilliant.
I can't because I have ADD.
You start finding out like little details about these characters, and you're thinking these are all going to come back in these big ways, and it really comes back in the cheapest, most
It's just a
completely
a
rushed
throwaway.
jokes, like plots that are so weird.
Like we don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, we know who's going to end up as the final four in this, that we care about, and that's going to be Toretto and Brian and Mia and Letty, right? I mean,
Yeah.
those are the final four.
Yeah, I guess you're.
Those
I
are
mean,
the right ones.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this other guy, he doesn't even have a plot. There's that other guy in the group. Like,
Leon.
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 Well, he takes jumping on. He ends up leaving. But once you see him drive off later on, that's all you see him from the franchise. That's it.
That's it, right?
That's it.
That's odd. That's strange,
Yeah.
especially since they have this like this. I think after this moment, there's a whole bunch of stuff where they have like a barbecue and they all get together and they all eat together, and they're having like that family thing that we see a lot in the franchise after, and what after I think 4,
Yeah.
like 4 on is all about that kind of stuff, and seeing these group of people and you know that 3 of them are not at this table later on, it's very strange
It
because
is.
you think this is the team.
Well,
this is
yeah,
the group.
because we've seen, a lot of us have seen Onward, and we know that
Yeah.
a lot of these people don't go through to the next
Yeah.
ones.
Well,
So we're like, come on.
I guess Mia and Brian are. It's getting more romantic, and Leon's getting drunk. That's his name, right? Leon.
No, Vince.
No, Vince.
Vince is the one.
Vince.
Vince.
Who the fuck is Leon?
He's the other one that doesn't talk.
Just making shit up.
I'm morphing the other 2 actors.
He's
had
the
the
other
least
one,
amount of
remember?
lines.
Let's just call him Billy Bob.
Yeah.
Leon had the least amount of lines. With the whole,
He does. He really does.
Yeah.
And I guess Vince is like getting more jealous, but he's also getting more drunk, so he's getting like obsessed with trying to stop it.
Yeah.
Like them being together. But that only pushes me to push it forward and basically be insulting to Brian. Basically putting Brian in even more of a hard situation with Vince. Like they're gonna like basically pushing them to fight. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
it's a really strange like way to go about it. But basically opens up them for a date. And so Mia and Brian go on a date where Brian awkwardly talks about her friends at their date. and
Yeah.
just basically fishing for
It seems
information.
like, I mean, if I were her and I was on a date with this guy, I'd be like, okay, you're definitely something not right. I mean, there's something a little fishy about this. He comes out of nowhere. Nobody knows him at all.
Yeah.
And he suddenly is like in the group.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude.
They
You
can't
know?
just talk about tuna fish all day.
Apparently not. I mean, who knows? They've been doing it. They said like 3 or 4 times.
I was gonna say,
please.
while they're on the date, they rob another truck.
That's right. At the same time as their date, there's a robbery of another truck. And is this why, like, I feel like I'm missing something with Tran? Like, is this more established? Because there is a sequence, and I don't know if this happened already.
We skipped the part where the
Brian goes
going
and looks into the cars.
Yeah, he went to Hector's garage because they had 3 Honda Civics.
Yeah, that's why the guy came back to his job. So that's how we know he's still working there. This guy asked him to get a whole bunch of parts for his Honda or something.
Yeah, he's asking for all these different things.
Yeah, like free parts.
I guess he's getting ready for Race Wars that we think, because that gets mentioned.
Yes, Race Wars.
Race Wars.
It's happening.
Which is
Race
the
Wars
thing
is
that just
coming.
happens.
He's getting ready for Race Wars, but in all the heists, they mention that it's 3 Honda Civics that are being the ones stealing the goods.
That's right. That's right. Okay, that makes a little more sense for me. Okay. And Brian decides to go into some of the shops and find, and when he goes into one of the shops, that's when Vince has like got Dom, and he's basically talked him into getting him and saying he is a cop. I think he's a cop and we got to take him down.
Yeah, they follow him to Hector's garage.
Yeah, they put a shotgun to his head and then, knock him out. And then I think he throws him in Dom's garage and he brings him to Dom because he had knocked him out with a shotgun or something.
No, he hits him. He knocks him out inside Hector's garage.
Yes.
And drags him out.
Okay.
To where Dom is.
Okay.
That's
I thought it was
Dom comes out of
outside.
shadow.
No, he dragged him out.
Yeah.
No, it was.
He got outside and then he hit him with the shotgun.
Then he must have come right outside the door and then dragged him over to where Dom was.
So my question is going to be in the next scene when they drag him inside. When we ask him, "Are you a cop?" Vince, and
Yeah.
then Vin Diesel doesn't say anything. They go inside. The next scene, they're sneaking up. Like Spider-Man, they're climbing up, going inside. And when he's inside, the reason why I'm jumping a little bit is that Brian sees all those VCRs
Yes.
and DVD. Now I'm thinking, if Jeff was correct, is it the reason why they're there is because their hot stolen goods were in Hector's shop the whole time?
Yeah.
And that's why they're there, to protect their stuff.
Yes, I think so. I think so.
Why
think
would
they
it be in Tran's garage?
Well, he doesn't trust Dom. And so, yeah, I think
Who
that's
doesn't
why
trust Dom?
Tran. I
Well,
keep wanting to call him
Well,
Ricky
they-
Tan.
Remember,
But
they
they
had
have
a
a
bad they had a bad
They have
business
a-
deal.
Yeah, they have a beef.
They had a bad business deal.
I would
Yeah,
say
they
Hector
had-
deals with both people, but all the VCRs and stuff there, it's like, whose is it? But he's sitting there looking at it, and that's why Brian thinks it's Tran. I see the hot merchandise here,
Yeah.
and I see these guys coming in, but at the same time, Dom is also there, and so now I'm trying to make the connection. Is he there
Yes.
to protect his wares?
Well,
his
yeah,
stuff?
he is, because obviously he beats the shit out of that guy, and he pours.
Oh, you're talking about Tran now. You're moving on to.
Yeah, Tran. Doesn't he?
We're talking about Dom and Vince taking Brian.
I found the
Right.
biggest
Well, what we're
problem.
saying, we're thinking it's Tran's, his merchandise, but it's not his merchandise.
Well, that's
Oh
supposed.
no!
It is.
Like,
Well, it's supposed
Is it?
to be the transition, because Brian gives the story saying to Dom that he goes, "Oh, this is about race wars. He's ordered all this stuff for his cars."
He's going to
So
try to cheat
they
at Race
automa-
Wars or something like that.
Right. So he's trying to find out what everybody else has got. So I guess that leads Dom to think, okay, I believe this somehow.
but Dom had a
somehow.
point where
And
he
then-
was like saying like, "Well, you're going to everybody else's garage and checking everything out and
Correct,
da-da-da-da.
yes.
Like, are you a cop?"
Correct.
Like,
Yeah.
So that leads them going to Tran's
Tran's
shop,
shop.
where we see
They break in.
where they break
Yes.
in.
Okay.
And
And
it seems like Brian's more interested now, not so much in the cars, but these DVD or VCRs.
Well, when he sees it, well, first off, they see that their cars have been gutted and their engines have been stolen,
Right.
which is weird. And Tran's freaking out, like, who stole their engine parts? Like, who did this? And so, right when he sees that, Brian sees the VCR tapes and the VCRs, and he's like, "Oh shit, that it must be Tran because they're all here." But they hide because Tran comes back with a chop shop guy, and he's like, "Who stole the parts?" Now that's where I like started getting more confused here. I was like,
so this guy is supposed to be fencing parts.
Yes,
You said
fencing
So
parts.
he's basically this guy is trying to get them the engines that they want. That's what it is. And so far, I guess whatever's going on, this guy hasn't been able to get the engines, and that's why Tran's all pissed off.
Right, but he
I
knows
thought
that.
someone stole his parts.
But Dom's involved. He knows that Dom's involved.
I gotta
mean,
tell
he
you.
works with Dom.
I'd say this movie's complex.
Yeah, for a movie this
It
simple, for a movie this simple, this
Yeah.
is so convoluted and so bizarre.
It
Like
really
this
is.
plot line.
It really is.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, I guess. And that the one of the things that bothered me the most about this film is right after this scene, we see Tran torture this guy. He's pouring oil on him. He's making his food, and you think this is going to be a big deal because we're going to see Tran kill this guy in front of them.
Yeah.
And Brian's going to see this, and he's a cop. He's got to deal with this. Nope, they just jump over it.
They skip over it.
We
like
don't
nothing
find out
happens.
what happens with this guy with Tran, and we don't know how they escaped. They're just home.
Yeah, they cut to them
And
at home.
and Dom's like,
It's like,
I'm with
what-
you. Like I trust Brian. But you're like, why?
Why do you trust this guy?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
They go on like I gotta tell you also, and I don't know
he's
how you
dating
guys
his
feel about
sister.
this.
That's why. Because he's dating his sister.
I guess. But I want to ask you guys this. Do you feel like Dom and Brian have more of a romance going on than any of the women with the
They
men?
definitely have a bromance.
100%.
I just think of that American Dad episode.
Oh my gosh, me too.
Oh, that is a fantastic episode. Yes.
Please share with the group.
That's where they find a script that secretly all of the screenplays were written about a gay romance, and that they had to be changed last minute when they filmed.
For the American people, but like the French all love the
Yeah,
the
they-
actual screenplay.
The actual screenplays are their gay
I
romance.
can tell you something. Vin Diesel is very popular in Europe.
I'm sure.
I'm just saying.
I'm sure.
I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying, Brian and Dom seem like they have more of a romance going on. They go out to
Yeah.
lunch together. They're having a like romantic lunch together, and
There
Well,
was
he
a couple,
does-
like,
Some shrimp
there was like
cocktail.
Yeah,
the
shrimp
eye
cocktail.
gaze with between
Oh
the two,
yeah, there's
and
some
I was just
gazing.
like, oh my
but I will
gosh.
say that he did say, if you hurt her, if you break her heart, I'll break your neck.
yeah, he's like,
That's what he says.
I'll never hurt her.
Yeah.
But he's looking at his eyes, and he's like,
I know.
I'll never. Hurt
It's
her."
almost like he's engaging with his lust.
Yeah, but they went out for like a little lunch snack, and I think Brian is like getting sick of it because they're saying, "Oh,"
Lunch
and
snack.
I guess this is what
Aaron, do you want
happens.
to go out next week for a lunch snack? 'Cause
Sure. Do you want some shrimp?
I
That,
would
that's-
love some
that
shrimp.
seems like a good lunch
And I'd like
snack.
to gaze into your eyes while I eat it.
Okay.
Okay, just saying.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. Sorry,
You guys,
Scott.
you guys done? I was gonna say, well, they went on that date. They actually, what's the sister's name?
Mia.
Yeah.
Mia and Brian ended up going back to the place that he works to have sex in the back of the shop. And he gets a phone call from the cops, and they're like, "Look, enough's enough. We're gonna move on Tran. If you don't think we should, you got to tell us now. Or if you think we should, say yes." He says yes. And at the same time, there was that hit on the other car, and that's why they're moving. They're like, there was another hit. We think it's Tran. Is it just we're moved? So we see a whole thing of SWAT teams bursting in on Tran's entire family and taking them all down.
Oh, you said family.
Family.
and
family.
and that's actually where we get our second family from, is because of that.
Yeah.
They take them down, and we find out that all of the VCRs they have were legally bought.
Yeah.
And so they don't have stolen merchandise. They just so happen to be stockpiling VCRs.
Who does
What the
that?
fuck is going on in this movie? Yeah.
This is a family of, we don't even know what they do.
But in
by the way.
2001, they
They're-
had DVDs. Why VCRs? Come on.
I mean, seriously?
They're set up to
It
be
could be DVD players.
This is
Who
the
knows?
stupidest
like a
plot
mob.
line.
They're set up to be a mob. They have machine guns. They're taking people. Like, what are they doing? Why are they legally buying VCRs?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, when the SWAT team burst into that house, Ricky Tan's father was not too happy. Okay, he smacked the shit out of him, and he's like,
Yeah,
hey.
well, his
You just-
right hand guy that we were laughing about is the coldest stare you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
He gets throat punched by the cops.
He does.
So,
But,
yeah.
you know,
Oh, you get
I mean,
choke slammed.
he
Yeah.
defiled
Yeah.
his family, so obviously his family is not involved in this shenanigans.
Yes, Tran is not the bad guy.
Yes.
There is no bad guy technically in this film. This is
Not
a
really.
strange film.
I mean, one might say that Dom is the bad guy.
I don't know. It's
Yeah, I don't
I mean,
know either.
Dom is just
baffling.
universally.
They try not to make him a bad guy, but he is the bad guy.
which is weird
while
in the
we're
one
watching
movie.
the movie.
When this movie was written and directed, they didn't think there was going to be another one, let alone 9.
No,
You know?
I mean, I don't think they thought there was going to be another
There's
movie.
no way, because
No
the
way.
ending of this film, there's no reason, and especially what happens in 2 and 3, there's no way they had an idea.
No.
So it's really strange.
And I heard that the wardrobe department had a really hard time lifting those boots for Vin Diesel to make him look taller.
He's actually
So
not that small.
I don't think that
That's
they
like
were
a weird
going to do
rumor.
another one. No, he's 5'9", but when you pair him against The Rock, who's 6'4",
True.
you got an issue.
You got to get on boxes.
Yeah, well.
The Rock. I mean, God's sakes.
He's a monster.
I mean, I do feel sorry for the wardrobe people. Just
Can you
I could
imagine
just
trying to
smell-
dress The Rock?
I could just smell the clothes.
I mean, you
I could
literally-
just smell the
I
sweat.
thought you were
and
gonna
the
say I
stuff.
smell what the Rock is cooking.
Oh my gosh, no,
Oh
not yet.
my.
In a couple movies.
You would have to sew on several sleeves for The Rock to have a shirt. I mean, if you take off all of Vin Diesel's sleeves in all the Fast and Furious movies and sew them into one shirt for The Rock, it might work, but he might still pop out of it. I'm just saying.
The Rock wants the tiniest sleeves as possible so his muscles look bigger.
I mean, he barely fits in anything.
I mean, his muscles are bigger.
I don't think The
It's
Rock
like
has
my
any
freaking-
issue with us
Yeah.
shooting off his arm.
Yeah,
No.
I was stuck on the VCR bit, so I just looked it up.
please.
2003 is when DVDs finally surpass VCRs in film rentals. And not till 2008 was the end of.
So you're saying they were still hot enough to have stock?
DVD
on it.
just come out in 99.
Yeah. This is 2001, correct?
Okay.
So we said
Okay,
what,
so,
another
yeah.
7 years before they surpassed
Yeah.
it. So
Okay. All right. Well, I mean,
Alright.
shit. It's a hot item.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I had
Give
no
it to
idea.
everybody for Christmas. I guess that's what the trans are doing.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Everybody gets a VCR.
Each
You
one of them
get
were
VCR.
1,500 apiece, apparently.
Good lord.
wow.
Really?
I wish I
Those
still had a
dual?
VCR.
Is it a duel though? Or are
Yeah,
we
I
just
think they're
assuming?
dual.
All right.
I like that.
So yeah, I mean, so Tran's not guilty. He gets off. He's whatever, and they're gonna have that the race war.
Yeah, so we cut from that to all the shenanigans happening with that to nicely one of these jump cuts to we're in the desert.
Yeah,
That's it. We're on to race wars.
this is race wars. We move on to it real quick.
Yeah.
Oh well, I will say this though. The big thing though I wanted to talk about at the lunch date. Dom slips a piece of paper to Brian because Brian's like, "Shit, I need the information. I need the information." He starts basically telling Dom, "I'm a cop," but he's not saying it. But he's virtually giving himself
I
away
mean,
because
Dom
he's being
looks
so
at him
pushy.
like,
Yeah.
I know you're a freaking cop, dude.
And he's like, I want to know what's going on. How do you have money? How do you have money to pay for all this? I know it's not from the racing. And he's like, here's a piece of paper. Does anybody here know what was on the paper? What happened from that?
No,
No.
they don't specify that.
I thought it was directions how to get to race wars.
Well, then why?
Why did jump cut to it?
I mean, it makes no sense.
What the fuck is? Why would he slide the race wars?
So
paper?
while I'm watching, I go, you didn't win all this money. You got all this money from race wars. I go, okay, there's no reason why I'm gonna disagree. Just with that, that jump cut right to race wars. I'm thinking, okay, on that piece of paper, I believe it said. Do you remember, Jared? Isn't that address to where to meet him for race wars?
Yeah, all he said was it's the address for race wars.
Yes.
Which I didn't know the desert had an actual address.
I
I mean,
and it's at an airport.
Yeah,
or
like
an
a-
airport.
like
Okay,
some
that's
sort
right.
of like
It
airstrip.
looks
seemed
like
like
an
it was a
airport.
desert, but there is a hangar in the back.
Yeah.
That's right.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what the fuck? It's so strange. And we go to race wars now, and it's a rave in the desert.
I was gonna say it's Rave Wars.
It
Yeah,
should have been.
it
It's
really
like
is.
it's like Burning Man with race cars.
Yeah, because I mean, you would think with a thing called race wars, you'd see more than 2 cars race.
Yeah,
I think we only saw 2 like
We saw 4, I
focused races. That was
No,
it.
2.
we see Letty.
Okay. Yes.
Letty gets a little moment where she races against a guy who's hitting on her.
Yeah.
And she takes
Destroyed.
$2,000 from him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Too
then
large.
Yeah. And then we see our little mousy character
Jesse.
decide to race Tran. Why? It's not really established.
No.
He just feels like he needs to race this guy because he
This-
feels big.
They said he wants to win the car so when his dad gets out of jail, he can ride together with him.
Oh, that's actually kind of sweet. Ride
Who
off
wants to
and-
ride with their dad? What?
Jesse.
Are you shitting me? He's gonna race a guy that he has no
Yeah.
place to race because he thinks he can beat him so he can get a car ride with his dad?
Yes.
What the fuck is
I
going
missed
on
that.
in this movie? I did not pick that up.
I missed that.
All right, so well, guess
I mean,
what?
He explains it to Brian when he's talking to
Yeah,
him.
but it's absurd.
He's like, and he goes, Jesse, you don't want to race Johnny.
Wait.
Johnny Tran.
Oh, Johnny
Okay,
Tran.
I was like, who's
My
Johnny?
mind went to Johnny Lawrence for some
I-
reason.
I-
Went to Johnny Bravo.
I
It's all
think
different
everyone's
kind of jokes we are.
my villain from Rush Hour.
So Tran wins. Wow. And because he wins, the guy doesn't want to give his car up and decides to drive off in the desert and nobody. And for some reason, this guy could just chase him in his car.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
He just drives back to Dom and blames Dom and says, Dom, get my car. And Dom's like, it's the race wars, man. I got no place here.
I'll have it delivered. That's what he says.
He's getting it washed.
It
No,
seems
Je-
like it seems
He says
so
he's getting
extra.
one. He's being a jerk, but they fight. He
Yeah,
punches him.
Jesse drives off. He runs over to him and says he fucked up.
Well, that's later.
And no, at
Yeah,
that point,
no,
Jesse drives over and says,
No, that's at the end of the movie.
So I'm sorry.
No.
I thought that was at that point too.
No,
I thought
because
you
we got
got
race
me.
wars going on.
That's right. They come over and say that Jesse's messed up, and they see him taking off. That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess does that lead? Oh, I know what happens. Okay, so Dom and his gang freak out, and this is where Brian tells
Mia.
Mia, "I'm a cop."
You don't forget about Johnny blaming
2,000 years later.
and then later on, like,
6.5 hours later.
Brian sees them talking,
A few inches later.
Mia and Toretto, and he's like, where are they going?
12 seconds later.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Yeah, so well, Brian basically sees Dom and his group freak out and start leaving, and that leads him to go over to Mia and like shake her, and then shake her in front of a shitload of people, and basically say, "I'm a cop."
He did say that.
And yeah, he goes, "I'm a cop," and I have to know what Dom's doing. Is he a part of this? The cops are going to get them, and she's like, "Fuck you," you know. And he's like, "No, seriously." Who cares about you and me right now? It doesn't matter. Dom and all of those guys are going to be taken down. We got to go save them. So basically, she gets in the car with him. They race to go find them. And it leads to a whole thing where Dom and his group actually went to take down that truck, a new shipment for those trucks. And this leads a whole shitload of things to happen with the grappling hooks and Vince being completely torn up by a grappling hook wire. And that's also where
How
that...
did his arm not fall off?
Yeah, and also
on.
this is where
Like-
Leon disappears again from the sequence. He's there with them, and then he's not, and then... And
No.
me, and also Letty, no one's helping. No one's doing anything.
No, Letty is
It
helping.
only-
Letty's driving to try and help. Driving around the side of the truck to get him.
And then where are they when he's hanging off this wire? Because it
She-
takes Brian somehow to catch up. He must use light speed to catch up to this fast traveling Mack truck
Well,
and
wasn't it like
three
in the
other
middle
cars.
of the night, and then all of a sudden
No,
it
this
was
is-
like daylight?
Oh, it was night when they
Yeah,
ran off
that's-
to
well, they
find
went
them.
to the Ed Wood School of making movies, so.
So like they got like 0 hours of sleep.
I think Letty's car gets hit by the Mack truck and goes
flips.
out.
Yeah. She
Leon-
spins out.
Dom sends Leon back to go get Letty.
Okay,
So
but I think
that's how-
Dom's at the car though.
Yeah.
No. He's
Well,
still on the car. He's still there.
He's still driving, trying to
I
get
thought
in.
Tom was talking real fast. Talks to Letty.
He doesn't stop and talk to her.
I can swear he does.
No.
Because she ends up crashing. He sends Leon back to go get her, and then now we jump back to the point where now Brian is now trying to help get Vince.
So we're all in agreement that Dom didn't go back to Letty?
No,
No,
yeah,
he
he
didn't.
didn't go back to Letty.
He told the other guy to go get her.
He told him,
I
yeah, go
could
get
swear
her.
there was
Because,
a moment between
Because
the two
like
of
she
them.
was like trying to be like
After
a
they saved
badass, and
Vince,
she's
yeah.
like, "Oh, I got
Yeah.
this, and I could save Vince and
Oh, that's
whatnot."
what
Yeah,
it
but
is.
and
Vince doesn't get saved until after he gets shot in the gut.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Oh, man.
how Paul Walker and Mia catch up to this Mack truck and save Vince is mind blowing. This is where we were talking about where the stunt double is in a scene and he's got a beard, and he jumps over to Vince. This guy is driving the Mack truck. Why they're getting robbed so often? Why don't they have an armed guard?
Yeah, I don't get it. Usually, Mack truck drivers usually do carry guns. Am I wrong? Because they're carrying precious cargo.
He's carrying a shotgun. He's blasting the shit out of that.
It's
But he
referenced
doesn't
earlier.
stop
One-handed.
the fucking car. He keeps driving. Like, you can easily stop the car
That's what
and
I'm saying.
shoot this motherfucker.
Yeah,
but
and
he doesn't
he's
do it.
not only not stopping, he is loading a shotgun, multiple bullets, while driving this thing at fast speed.
Yeah. Like,
And-
why not stop the freaking truck? It makes no sense.
It's wild that Brian's able to catch up and let Mia take over the car so he can jump over there, save Vince, throw Vince on top of the car,
Yeah.
and jump back onto the car.
It's so extra and not needed at all.
Yeah.
Like, why not just take out the freaking driver of the truck instead of go through all this?
But then it would crash. But then I guess you might as well because
And
you're
then
going
it's
to
the
take the
same
stuff out of the
shit.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I totally forgot that Dom's car just like completely died because the truck driver like blasted his car, and so he was like stuck.
That's right.
That's
did
why I
happen.
thought he
That's
was
why,
stopped for.
yeah.
Okay, so I didn't
But he
remember
didn't
him
go
being in
back
the
for
front-
Letty.
the-
He
the
just
front.
got disabled.
Well, Vince is like shot,
He
and
shot in the
Vince is like
freaking
dying,
side, yeah.
and this makes Brian call air support to get a wounded person.
Yeah.
And while he's doing that, he's saying he's a police officer, and Dom gives him. We could debate on what kind of a look this is. This is either I'm going to
Nice.
kill you or my God, I'm hungry. It's one of the
It's
two.
the I'm betrayed. I can't believe you lied to me eyes.
Well, yeah, he's kind of biting his lip like he's hungry a little bit. He's
Yeah.
thinking about chili.
That's the lip bite of anger. That's what that
That
is.
explains the
Ah.
chili.
It's like when I get the lip bite of anger when I can't get a burrito.
That's exactly what I was looking at. That's what I was thinking about.
That's what happens.
So, Brian is out. Everybody
Yeah.
knows it.
I mean, it's out. It's out of the closet. Skeleton's out of the closet. He's actually a cop. And you know what? Chupa, which is not Chupa, but Chupa from Blade 2. What's his name? Vince. He called him out and said, "This is a fucking cop."
The guy was right all
He
along.
was right.
He was right the whole entire
Yes.
time.
And he's only right because he's a douchebag and he just automatically assumed. He didn't actually know.
Right.
He just assumed because
But
he
I
didn't
feel
like
like
him.
Dom should have known too.
Well, I feel like
But-
Dom does know in a weird way.
Not really.
Well-
Well, the look on Vin's face at the end, he's like, "Bro, you broke my heart." type
You said Vince. You mean Dom?
Dom.
No, Vin. On Vin's face.
Oh, on
Vin
Vin's.
Diesel.
Sorry.
Dom. I'm sorry, Dom. On
I-
Dom's face.
I wonder if it's that situation where, yeah, he realizes, okay, yeah, you're right in front of me telling me you're a cop. But at the same time, you are trying to save
Yes.
my guy here.
That's why he didn't kill him.
And, maybe you did actually come out there to actually save me, to try to stop this thing. And maybe that's why he kind of let go of the lip of death, with biting his lip there to try to say,
Yeah,
what,
he's thinking,
All
do I
right,
kill
maybe-
him or do I let him save my friend?
maybe he's not that bad.
Yeah.
It goes against his own motto. He lives 10 seconds at a time.
Yeah, we forgot
Yeah.
to talk about that scene.
That's right.
That's your scene.
And
And
in
it's
that
a half
scene,
mile per day. What is
Half
it?
mile per day.
a 10 second,
Like the speed
Quarter
of
mile
sound.
at a
10 seconds a
Quarter
minute.
mile. A quarter mile at a time.
like he doesn't care about anything. Whatever happens, that's how he reacts to it. And also, he's sitting there hulking up.
It-
55 seconds.
No, I'm going to say this. That scene is hilarious, that whole speech, because his character is not like that in the rest of the movies going forward.
No.
His character is about, I will do anything to protect my family.
Yeah.
And in this movie, he's basically saying, I live for the moment and I might die any second.
Yeah,
I don't
but
really
that
care."
just goes to show you what the film franchise is about.
Oh,
He
absolutely.
grows into something else.
He also explains in that scene, I can't believe we forgot about it, that he explains in that scene why he beat that guy with a wrench. He says that his father was in a car crash on a thing, and it was this other driver, and then he lost it. He said everybody could hear the screams, but it was actually me. It was my screams. Mm-hmm. The fire was happening.
He didn't
they said my
realize
father
that he
died.
was beating the shit out of the guy until he was, in
And then
a
he
coma.
saw him, and he took a wrench. He was supposed to be really young,
Yeah.
and he beat him with the wrench.
Well, the guy survived. He didn't die, but
Yes.
I mean, it was really bad.
So in the end of the movie here, though, Dom, after he calls the helicopter in to save Vince, Dom, Letty, and he calls Mia over, jump in Leon's car, and they race off. And Brian watches for a little bit and decides to finally run to his car and go after them. But because he got in his car maybe 5 minutes late. He gets there and Letty, Leon, they have all left. And now it's only Mia and Dom at their house. They went back to their own house. And that's where Paul Walker, Brian, jumps out of his car and they have guns on each other. He's got a shotgun, Dom, and Brian's got a gun on him. He's like, dropped a gun. And he's like, I'll go after my friend. I gotta go stop Tran or whatever it is. And perfect timing. Perfect timing. This is what you were talking about before. Yeah. Jesse drives up and just helps the plot along. Yeah. He just comes to the house and says, sorry, I've been driving around for a while. I got some Wendy's. I had a lot of stops I had to do. I know a lot of crazy shit happened over here. I've been busy driving.
Gotta put some miles on the car before I give it to you.
I really thought about it a little bit. I wanted to pick up my father, but then I thought about it. So he's like, I'm sorry, Dom. And now this guy's a just giant asshole. Just an idiot. Because Tran and his motorcycle guys show up and just unload on everybody. And only Dom, because he's got superpowers, he can hear the motorcycle. Both he knows it's coming.
And Paul Walker.
And they
both look up and they jump and take dive and accept. Jesse just stands there.
Yeah. All three actually have their spider senses activated.
Yes.
But Jesse was the last one.
Yeah, he doesn't.
It felt like 10 minutes later. Then he starts.
His spider sense activated as he got shot.
He spins as he's being shot. Even Mia runs out of the house and instantly dives.
Oh yeah,
Jesse does not think about anything.
He just stands there like, "Come at me, bruh." Yeah.
So Jesse is riddled with bullets,
and that's it.
And this leads Paul Walker to jump in a car to chase Tran and his bodyguard guy on motorcycles, and this ends up in a giant gunfight where the guy is spraying a machine gun down a block and just riddling cars. He's doing it in a circle motion.
I'm sure
he's
like nine
bullets.
people died at least.
I don't even know how this clip is still going, but he's just unloading on this thing, and he misses Paul Walker every single shot. And Paul Walker just gets them all. Yeah. He kills both of them. He does one of a shot out of his window perfectly and shoots this guy and kills him.
That first one didn't really die. He just fell.
I thought Toretto hit that guy off the mountain.
He just went, eh.
Did Toretto get to one of them?
Yeah, he hit the bodyguard off the mountain.
I don't know. There was one guy that went down the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
That's right. And the motorcycle fell on top of him. And I said, that stunt looked awesome.
I don't recall that.
I don't remember Dom doing it because how did Dom get there? Because he was holding Jesse the whole time.
No, he drove the car.
He was driving the Challenger, the black car.
Yeah, I'm just saying, how did he catch up?
Because he's fast and furious.
They both
ran to the car.
No, I can swear that they got two different cars because then they have a chase.
Well, no, yeah, because
they have two separate cars.
Brian's in his car. Brian's in his car. He goes after Tran, and then at the same time, Dom gets in his car and starts going after them. So how they caught him on motorcycles.
That's what I was saying. How Dom caught up when he was behind, and then how, at least Paul Walker's shooting his gun ahead.
Yeah.
And they're ahead, but somehow he gets up to him to hit him off the motorcycle, which I completely forgot.
This is the beginning of the crazy.
This is not even. Yeah,
nonsense.
We're not even there. The rest of these films, I can't wait for 2 and 3 because
Jesus.
I feel like they're going to be tame compared to everything that's going to come after that.
Well, Vin Diesel's not in the second one, is he?
I love 2.
I've heard 2 is the best.
Right. I feel like I'm not going to like part 2. I don't know. We'll see.
Let's finish this movie first. Let Brian and Dom kill those two guys, but now it's Dom versus Brian because Dom goes on the run. They have they pull up next to each other and they decide, let's race this shit out. Mm-hmm. Instead of having a bro hug, let's race this thing out. So they have a race, and I think it's been referenced a couple times now that he hits the NOS too quick. Yeah. And now he's learning a little bit. Yeah. And so now they get to the same point, and there's a train coming, which is hilarious because we'll talk about that in a second. But they start heading toward the train tracks, and they both hit the NOS at the same time. The only reason that Vin Diesel doesn't win this race is because something happens in his motor, and it kind of messes up a little bit. But they are neck and neck, and they go through and they beat the train, and they are able in fast motion to look at each other and smile at each other, making Vin Diesel not see an oncoming Mack truck of some sort.
Yeah.
and he smashes it and flips over the air, and it goes over Brian and crashes. No seatbelt, no sleeves. He's fine.
Well, his no sleeves protected him. So.
Yes, I
Like
think.
magic armor.
Yes.
He broke his arm or something.
Well, he doesn't. Brian
How
doesn't
dare
even try
you,
to pull
Jeff?
him out of the
he
car.
Did not break anything.
No,
Brian doesn't pull him out. He pulls himself out because
Yeah.
he's Vin Diesel.
Yes.
And I am fucking amazing. I'm gonna pull myself out of this car. Something hurts. We're not gonna see what it is. We don't see any cut. We know that something's wrong. But Brian's just like, hey man, the cops are coming. Get in my car. Get out of here. It's a 10 minute
second.
car.
He-
10-second car.
He didn't say that. He just says, "I owe you a 10-second car."
I
And
was
he just
hyping it up better.
Holds the car keys out.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you
While
gotta
in the
say it
background,
really cool.
We
you
can
know?
see the train that they had already passed backing back up. And we were wondering, where's the intersection for these trains?
Yep. It's
Yeah,
just-
we couldn't stop laughing about those trains in the background. Yeah, so that's the end.
Yeah, he drives
Vin.
off.
He drives off. He's on his own.
Yeah.
Brian let him go. We don't know where Vin Diesel and his crew have been selling or fencing all of these things they've been stealing.
No.
We don't know where they keep it. Do they sell it out of the tuna shop?
I mean, why is that
Who knows?
important?
We don't know.
I mean, we don't. Why is it important?
Yeah,
You know,
there is a
It's
dead
like-
body in front of Dom's house. The cops are still going to go there regardless.
Yep.
They're going to question why there was a gangbang in front of his house.
Oh, you say gangbang.
Yeah, that's a terminology.
Oh, I thought that meant sex. Isn't a gangbang sex?
That might have happened before Dom got back to the house with the
But
corona.
isn't
that was
this
the
the same
30
house that
35
gets
people in
blown
the
up
house.
in the later movies? Like, isn't this the same house that?
It's the same house throughout all these movies. Yeah.
they keep the same house. Okay.
Yeah. It keeps
Yeah.
coming. They keep
That's
fixing
the
it
one
up.
consistency that they have throughout this.
Yes, that one barbecue table. The what looks like Thanksgiving dinner. That's a thing.
Oh, family.
Yeah, so-
but you know they don't go back to his Toretto's.
That's what I was asking these
fish
guys.
store
Did they
or
go back to
whatever.
the convenience
No.
store? Yeah.
No.
Nothing
Which
I know of.
which I love that it was called Toretto's. I've
called
never
Toretto's.
heard this.
Well,
That's
they,
the first
don't
I've
they
heard
own
of
it
that.
together like brother and sister? Are they own
I
it?
don't know.
They never
I don't
go
know.
back to it.
Nothing comes back, right?
They never go back to it.
Yeah.
No, right?
So-
We never
At all.
said. I mean, I haven't seen 2 or 3.
They could have
But
closed
I've
up
seen
shop
4.
after the second time that we saw them in it because
never
we didn't
go
see
back
it
to
after
it.
that. We don't
Toretto's
see it
not
ever
even
again.
in the second.
They even have a garage too. Do they also have a garage shop where they fix cars?
I think that's back behind the sandwich shop.
And it looked like
I have no idea.
it looked like a barn. You can
Yeah.
see the lights coming through all the walls in that barn. I was like, "What? Where is this? Did they build this in the middle of nowhere?" It's
No clue.
baffling. The whole movie is baffling. What?
It gets progressively nonsensical as we go along.
Yes,
I have a big plot hole.
please.
Like, why are cops so dumb in movies?
Yeah, I mean that's not
Yeah.
even a plot hole. That's just bad writing.
Especially since
Or-
Brian is a cop in this movie, so he should be more informative.
How old is Brian?
23.
Because
I don't know.
how is he already like an undercover agent? Like, is he in 21 Jump Street? Like, what the hell's going on?
I mean, let's say he's 30. I don't know.
No.
Well, we
Look
talked
like
about
he's
this.
like
Vin
20.
Diesel's 55 at the time of this recording, right? So we said 30 something
Yeah,
during
he
this
is
movie.
55.
So that's wild. And
Wow. Okay.
Vin does not look 55.
No.
he looks the same in this movie than he does.
Well,
now.
no.
I-
In this movie, he looks super skinny, like a toothpick.
yes, he's much bulkier.
Yeah,
now
he's
in real life.
bulkier now.
We see Dom's crew they're very terrible at taking out semi trucks.
Yes.
But yet you have the SWAT team, the FBI, federal agencies
Yep.
going after these 3 people. It makes no sense. And an undercover cop
Yes.
who's actually sleeping with his sister. Like,
Yes.
I know. It's baffling.
Like, why couldn't
Yes.
they just put like a tracker in one of these VCRs?
Thank you. Why isn't anybody watching
Right.
the VCR trucks? Like,
No.
I just don't get
There's
it.
no surveillance on his house, even.
Yeah.
It's
Just
like-
put an armed guard in the back of the truck.
I know. No,
You know,
none of it.
when they open the thing, a Gatling gun.
Why do any police work? Why do any police work at all? I mean,
If I was the VCR company, I would be taking out people onto the back of that truck. I would be taking it
real.
very seriously.
I can't wait to move on forward through all the series
because-
because it gets crazy.
We go from them being a owner of a convenience store and a street racer who steals VHS tapes to them battling the world for the world domination. That is insanity. What happens next?
Yes. Oh.
No
Oh,
way.
just wait.
This
Just
becomes
wait
a
to see
Marvel
what you're
franchise.
you're in for.
This is more convoluted than the Marvel Cinematic
It is
Universe,
more
without a
convoluted.
doubt.
What
It is.
number movie is coming out this year?
10
10.
and
Fast
11
X.
is Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah,
So because I missed
it,
because I missed a few, I hope it's a Back to the Future plot and they have to time travel back to this movie.
I
Oh my god! You know what? I wouldn't
The
put it
same
past
when-
them.
Yes.
They've already done shit in this that's
Maybe
like
Leon jumps back in time and says,
It's
"Guys,
crazy.
I've seen the future."
maybe.
yes, it's crazy. It's bonkers.
So, and there's also one more plot hole. Like,
Oh, well, the cops one. I don't know if it was a plot hole, but go ahead.
so Vince is the only one that gets arrested.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, I didn't even think
I
about
mean,
that.
how did he get arrested? He was hurt.
No,
we don't
he
know.
would have been airlifted out, so they would
He
have.
was airlifted out.
They would have known he's part of the crew, being part of the heist that they were trying to do.
Because the truck never stopped either.
Right.
I could be wrong, but 2's the one I've seen the most.
Okay.
And Jeffrey said he wasn't in 2, right?
No.
But I believe he went to jail. Okay.
Yeah, he does
For
come back.
one of the
Vince
movies that
is
he
coming
comes back afterwards, after being in
I
prison
definitely
for a
know
while.
Vince is on. I think part 4.
Is part 2 Tokyo Drift? No, Tokyo
Part
Drift
three
part
is
3.
Tokyo
Yes.
Drift.
The next one is the one I'm most interested in because I don't think there's only like 2 characters that come back into the franchise, but there's a whole bunch of other ones. So
That's Too Fast, Too Furious, and there's no Dom.
no Dom.
It's just Tyrese
Me too.
and
Ludicrous.
Yeah, that's when we meet my 2 favorite characters. of all
Okay,
time.
yeah, I will take that. I will
Yes.
take that.
And I don't know how they're going to be playing in this one because they become full slapstick
I love
Three
Tyrese.
Stooges after that.
He is what we need in all these movies, so I'm happy with Tyrese.
you weren't happy with Ja Rule?
No,
And I'm
no, and
surprised
he's
to see that.
no.
That's why he's out in the first 15 minutes.
He's not in
his
this movie again. It's a little
booby
weird.
juggling. His booby juggling.
Also, that other guy, the guy who shut down the road for the whole race, and we see him buying parts later on. He doesn't come back either.
Hector?
No?
Hector.
Actually,
Yeah.
he does in part 2.
What?
He's in part 2?
He is.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't wait.
Okay.
That's spoilers, I guess. We're going to find out
All right,
a
well,
lot
yeah,
more
we're gonna find out
going
from
forward.
next week. We'll find
Yeah.
out.
So what does everybody score out of 10? Aaron?
I would say a 4.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You
I mean, I kind of zoned out, and then
It's easy.
I got back into consciousness, and then I zoned out again, and then
Jeff?
started talking.
I would give it a 4 also.
Oh, wow. And you seem to like it the most. You knew more about it than the rest of us.
Just because I've seen it so many times doesn't mean I like it the most.
Okay. All right.
But it's your favorite movie.
One day we'll find out what Jeff's real movie
We know that he likes The Fifth Element.
Who knows? One day
The
it'll
Fifth
change
Element
again.
is Jeff's favorite movie.
All right, Joe, you're sticking with the 5?
I'm going with the 5.
and
Gary.
Gary?
I can only judge it based on the Fast and Furious multiverse.
You're going against the other movies.
Yes, and I'm gonna rate it like a 3.
Wow.
Oof.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So you think they get progressively better?
I think they get progressively better,
I
and it's
sure
gonna be
hope
more
so.
fun with this one. I expected more fun, and it's the reason why other people are, supposedly watching this series is for the fun. And I'm just watching some guys do some stuff with the cars, and that was it.
Okay.
All right, Jared, before I speak.
I think I definitely. I'm going with Joe on this one. Sorry. I'm gonna have to go with a 5, just because I'm thinking about the time in which it was made. Yeah, it doesn't really kind of stand up, but I still kind of enjoy a lot of it with
Yeah.
the car stuff.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm
So-
going with the 5 as well. The
So-
same reason. I
Yep.
feel like this isn't that mediocre thing where it's just so forgettable, but it's not awful.
Yes, but you can also feel the time period, and that time
Yeah,
period
absolutely.
is not fun with the terrible music.
That's why
the
5.
music in the
Yeah.
movie is terrible.
Yeah.
Well,
To
I
me-
do have to say, like, when I watched it when I was younger, I totally thought it was like a 10. Now it's a 4.
Well, you're older and wiser.
Yes,
You're
I'm
older
like
and wiser.
matured.
This
What a
movie, you can
flip.
see all
And
the
it's not like
spots
you
and
don't
shit.
watch complete trash movies like it's your job.
That's
know?
true, 100%.
And now now that the movie slowed down for many of us, you can see all the advertisements. Snapple.
Yes, we didn't
Oh,
talk about
God,
that.
yeah, I know.
Coca-Cola, Panasonic.
The
You
Pizza
see
Hut.
Oh yeah, Pizza Hut. Yeah.
It stands out so much now
Yes.
Yeah.
that you're like, oh my god, this is
I don't remember the
someone.
other
Was
ones.
this movie made on a budget or something?
Yes.
Well,
Well,
were the
if
other ones Ad
Oh,
Horse?
always. They
All of them?
always-
All of them were Ad Horse? Okay,
What
I
do you
don't
mean, all
remember.
the franchise, you mean?
The whole franchise.
Well,
Does it
I know
add more?
Corona was big, but I think one of the movies dropped Corona, like at the end. I think one of the last ones,
dang.
because
Okay.
of the coronavirus. I think they dropped
I
it.
see. Well, that
But,
had to be later, like 8 or
I think
9.
they're drinking Heineken.
Ew.
I know. We were
That's
laughing
the
about
worst.
that. Yeah.
That's a little bit of a stretch.
We-
but,
Gross.
We also didn't talk about the music because you're talking about advertisements.
Ugh,
There's about
Limp
50
Bizkit.
songs in this movie. There's like
Yeah.
It's like
so
every
big
piece of
sound.
shit of the 90s.
They're packing this thing out with bad music.
Ugh.
I know we were trying to figure out some of the bands as a joke, but it was out of control.
Well, we know that we at one point said, well, we know this is Limp Bizkit, but it's like I'm waiting for White Zombie to show up.
which there was a song that sounded very, very.
We couldn't
close.
figure it out. We're like, is
Oh.
that true?
Marilyn
Marilyn Manson?
Manson
Yeah.
slash
Ugh.
type thing.
Could have been
Terrible.
Korn. We don't know.
There was Slap My Bitch Up in there at one point.
We
Oh,
said
okay, that's
Prodigy,
Prodigy.
Yeah, Prodigy.
All right,
And
that
it's
makes
like the
sense.
height of wrestling as well, where
Yes.
all that music was playing at the same time. So
Yeah,
That's
they're
true.
showing it to everyone at the same time. Go,
Yeah, I love the part in this movie where they actually try to put a score. Like they actually try to put some
They
actual
did try.
scored
They
music
did.
into this film, but it was
Yeah.
covered up by rap music,
Ugh.
so it was like pointless. It's an odd film.
Like,
but-
even if they put the Misfits in there, I would probably be like, I
the
can't do this.
Misfits.
Like, I'm just saying. Like,
I
if
don't
they
know.
I
tried.
want to see that.
If
Ed.
they
Yeah,
put
I don't
my
know where it
bands
would
in
fit.
there, I would have been like, I can't do this either. You know? Like, it would just not work. Not work at all.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, this is a very mediocre film,
Well,
and I cannot
yeah.
wait for Aaron to see the rest of these.
If you had to add up all of our scores, you would probably say that this is like an average 5, right?
I three of us are
A
saying
mediocre.
5. Oh well, he said 3, so that knocks it
And
down.
Aaron said 4.
Yeah, 2 4s.
2 4s.
Yeah.
And
So-
you said 5.
I said 5.
I would say this rounds out to be a 5 if you add up the majority.
I'd
How's the math
more-
feel on
I'm
that?
gonna
About a
say
4.
Yeah, I think it's
If you
average.
fill
4.7.
everything up, it's going to be about a 4.
That 3 boosts us down. a
Let's
little
say
bit.
4.7.3. Well, because Vin Diesel's sleeves, at least get half a point because they're not
Sure.
there. There's no sleeves.
There was a scene during their little date that he did have sleeves.
He did have.
They did have
He
sleeves.
did wear
Yeah.
sleeves at
One.
one point.
We called it out a few times, like,
Yeah.
oh shit, sleeves.
Yeah.
All right, parting thoughts. Anything else? So we've forgotten about it, or we didn't even think to talk about in this thing.
Oh my gosh.
No, I mean, I'm anxious to get to the one where Vin is not present because I want to see how that rolls out.
That's the
Yeah,
next one.
yeah, that's the next one. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
The
really
next
looking
two-
forward to the
well,
next two.
Unless you count the end of.
Yeah, there's credit scenes and
30.
stuff.
Part 2, and
Oh,
in
and when I
Tokyo
asked about
Drift,
this-
does that really take place in Tokyo? Because at least we
Good
get
que-
some.
I don't know.
No
We
idea.
get some like
Which one?
hot Asians. So there's
Oh, Tokyo Drift.
yeah, that one's been.
It is.
I
Okay.
forgot to ask you guys, since you've seen this a bunch, is there an end credit scene in this one?
No.
No.
Because some of the others do start getting end credits, like the Marvel Universe, which
No.
is insane.
Not, there's no end credit for 2, but there is one for 3.
Yes,
and then
3
Oh.
on, I think, have them.
This
Okay.
early on, really?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so we did it. We got through it. We talked about it.
On
Let's
to
get
the next.
Let's get the fuck out of here and let you guys go to sleep. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. Good night.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Nothing else matters, not the mortgage, not the store, not my team and all their bullshit. For those 10 seconds or less,
And then later on, like,